Let's quickly start with. I know many of you would be aware of some of the steps that are needed to, you know, get into data domain, get into the roles that revolve around data analytics space. And I'm sure, although this discussion is targeted towards entry level professionals, but it is equally important for the lateral, uh, somebody who has experience not in data analytics, but and on applications side, for example. So definitely, this discussion will be focused on those professionals as well, because needless to say, there are some basic and common steps that are needed for everyone who want to get into this domain. So they are equally applicable for entry level professionals or experienced professionals. So I would not be discussing fundamentals first. Let's try to understand what are the roles we have. Uh, you know, Especially I'll be going by the names. There are some specific terminologies, some roles that are defined, that are getting used in different organizations. So I'll be quickly touching base uh, on that first. So, there are different designations that are given to, like, let's say the entry level professionals. Uh, some of them are data analysts, or data engineers, junior data engineer, data specialist, senior data engineer, data architect, then data scientist. Yes, with the advent of machine learning and AI, there has been a lot of noise and buzz around data science and the roles, whether it is junior data scientist, or or senior data scientist role. So I'll start with the very basic role that we can give to an entry level professional. uh, as you can see on my screen, data analyst. So the responsibility revolves around understanding the raw and complex data sets that are given, and should have the ability to produce some meaningful report, or a visualization, or an insight that can be understood by a business person who is not strong enough in the technical domain, but can understand high level insight that's being derived out of a raw or a complex data set, and can some actionable story that can be presented back to a business person. So that's so as the line says, a data analyst is a storyteller who converts data insights into actionable stories. So then we have data scientists. As I spoke, machine learning and statistical analysis. uh, they work with large volumes of data. They have understanding of math, statistics, and different predictive models, or so the skills, somebody who has done some education in statistics is a natural fit for this role. Somebody who holds knowledge about different mathematical models, that can be used to perform statistical analysis, is definitely a natural fit. But then there are people, there are folks who have been studying in this space lately, through the online courses, through the online degrees provided by Coursera, platforms like Coursera, and you know they've been doing a lot of stuff, and then they are entering into this space. But overall skills, tools, these are some of the skills that are needed to be a data scientist. Then a very popular role is a data engineer. Now, data engineer is somebody who sets the stage, for making data ready to be consumed by downstream use cases. Could be somebody who wants to present a nice dashboard, having some nice like visualizations or reports. That data is consumable. Can that data can be inferred by some person, But organizations generate day-to-day data through their transactions. Could be customer interaction, could be you know signing up of orders, etc. A lot of things, but this is a very raw form of data. We cannot really infer much. There has to be somebody, facilitating that mechanism to ingest this data. We call it as ETL methodology, extracting raw data, transforming it, and loading it into, uh, a storage area. We call it as data warehouse. I mean, these all are the standard terminologies that are getting used in data domain. So, so as a wording says, data engineers are the architects who design, build, and maintain the foundation of data-driven insights. So they are responsible for building data pipelines that can source raw data, put some business rules, some transformation on top of that, and be able to load it into a target area on which we can run some reports, some some insights can be inferred. Then a business analyst uh, differs from a data analyst in a lot of ways. A sound business acumen is needed for somebody who wants to be into this role, somebody who is good at understanding the market trends and can explain back to the management of an organization how those trends can be leveraged, to increase their ROI. So uh, that is somebody, we call it as business analyst. And of course data needs to be analyzed. So of course data analysts, like tools like Excel or SQL or Tableau, they are used, and excellent communication is needed because you're communicating with business stakeholders. You're talking to your organization stakeholders, you're giving them some insights, how the organization can position themselves in market to increase their return on investment. So BI analyst is, again, these terminologies, they do not have strict boundaries. And even I would say the designations that I have covered so far, they are not very hard defined. That they overlap. At times people have to wear different hats depending upon the business requirements or the project requirements. They are not very strictly defined. Somebody who is working as a data engineer, may have to play some role in developing some reports. He may have to act as a data visualization expert sometimes. So it all depends, what kind of project it is. And of course, what is the budget? You cannot have like different people, you know, uh, for different areas. Somebody has to, I'm explaining from a very real time perspective. This is how the organization carry on with their projects. Data engineers, data visualization experts, even ML engineers, they sometime these roles are played by same set of people. So as you can see on my screen, BI analysts are responsible for analyzing and interpreting business data to help organization make better decisions. Now, this again very much overlaps with data analyst, right? The only thing is there is some usage of uh, third-party tools like Tableau, Power BI, Looker for nice looking data visualization and reporting. And so this is what it differs from a normal data analyst. Then there are roles around machine learning, where we are feeding some past data to a model and we are trying to make some decisions on, you know, based on the new inputs, you know. So we are training some equation, mathematical equation, we call it as model. And then, after that after that model is trained over certain set of data inputs, we are trying to predict on, we are testing it whether it can match the output to certain. Of course there will be certain set of error thresholds. So these this kind of job roles, they fall under machine learning. And of course, designations could be different. It does not have to be ML engineer or something. It could be different depending upon the organization hierarchy. So, I mean, my intention was to briefly touch base upon, what are the different kind of roles organizations have for people who want to work in data analytics domain. And things have changed a big deal, with um, with the advent of hyperscalers like AWS, Google Cloud Platform, where you can build your managed solutions. So the style of working and style of delivering solutions and products have changed a big deal. So we'll be covering all that. But let's start with fundamentals. I'm sure like most of the people who are part of this discussion may have done something in SQL, at some point of their career. And if they have not started their career, then definitely they would be doing a lot of work in SQL if they want to get into a data analytics domain, if they want to build their career in data domain. So SQL, I mean, I think more than 20 years or 25 years, uh, the SQL is still going strong. And it has started back in, I think, 70s with traditional, relational databases, and it was the language of choice for data retrieval, data manipulation back then, and it is today also. Although there are additional database paradigms that have, cropped up in today's era. I'm talking about NoSQL databases, not only SQL, but SQL is still going strong, and the relational way of storing data in forms of tables. I'm sure you all would be aware of relational databases, tables, indexes, primary keys, foreign keys, everything. So, the data is still getting stored in relational DBs, although some of the databases are not managed by individuals. They are managed by the cloud platforms like AWS and GCP and Azure. They are maintaining your database platform for you in lieu of some monthly bill that you have to pay. But still, it's when it comes to retrieving the data that is getting stored, the steps are same. You're using structured query language, and anyone who wants to get into a data role have to have a strong foundation of SQL in terms of data definition language. I know this stuff might be sounding very basic to some of you, but again, for the entry level professionals, I'm just highlighting the importance of SQL. So going by having a strong grip over data definition languages, data manipulation language, it is the key. You cannot ignore it. And another important pillar of building a solid career in data is having a grip over programming languages. Like there are different. Python is very popular language in today's time, and one must have a working knowledge of Python, because a lot of data stuff you are doing has they, it should be written in a programmable way. You need to write a data pipeline. You want to you're writing your extract, transform, and load pipeline. You need to be aware of one language in which you can write it, you know and then there are other languages available like R, Java, you know etc. But I would recommend Python as a language. You should all be going forward with. Now there are, there are some reasons for that. The very the most crucial reason is like the availability of rich set of libraries in Python for data manipulation, for data analytics, data visualization, data engineering. So a lot of libraries are available, and the Python is a very easy language to write if we compare it from syntax perspective. If I'm comparing it with Java, again, somebody who is proficient in Java may differ with my thoughts, but what I have seen, because I myself write codes sometimes in Python, and I find this language very easy to, easy to write. If I'm talking from syntax, easy to understand syntax. So Python is the language to learn. Uh, One should make aware, of themselves about the different libraries that are available to write different data pipelines. So now the third point I would like to cover is, of course, we are living in a big data era, right? And you cannot ignore the distributing computing frameworks like Apache Spark, Apache Hadoop, you know, um, parallel distributed computing frameworks, where you can process large amount of data in a distributed manner across a cluster of computers. These are additional areas you will have to make yourself aware of. Uh, like one example I can give is, like, let's say you have written some data pipeline in Python, and you're trying to test it by ingesting, let's say, 1,000 set of records that are stored in some source table. You're trying to read it, and you're trying to load it after manipulating or processing that back into some another table. Now, you were able to test it, you were able to run it fine. Now let's say you're deploying it as it is, as a Python routine in production, where the source table is having million of records. Now this strategy is bound to fail, because Python as a language cannot scale until and unless you are using the libraries available for Spark. For example, I'm giving uh, Spark, which is a distributed computing platform, which is needed to, if we want to run a pipeline that can scale uh, to handle million of records. So yes, these are additional paradigms one must understand and be aware of. Then of course you cannot ignore cloud hyperscalers, cloud platforms, because it is a cloud era. So one has to have good understanding. If not all three platforms, I am saying one should at least have good understanding of a cloud platform like Google Cloud Platform, for example. uh, One should have understanding of the different services that are related to compute, storage, networking, big data, AI, and ML. There are different managed services that are provided by Google Cloud Platform, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure. So having proficiency in one cloud platform is very important, because all the roles that you will get in your career would be revolving around uh, building cloud based solution, because every organization is building solution on one of the hyperscalers. So if I'm talking about building a data pipeline, I'm talking about building a data pipeline on a service that is available in GCP. I would give one example, like Composer is a service that can be used to orchestrate data pipelines. Again, more can be read. There is huge documentation, official documentation available for all the three cloud hyperscalers. Then there are some additional things one should be aware of, although I have not written that. Like I have ignored the importance of Excel. Microsoft Excel, you cannot ignore. You'll have to have some good working knowledge if you want to do some calculation on the data sets. You want to verify, or you want to do some data testing, you want to verify the results. You should have some knowledge where you can apply some formulas in Excel just to verify the results are correct. For example, a record count, or or some total of a metric, or anything. So good working knowledge of Microsoft Excel will help you great deal. Then working knowledge of Jupyter notebooks. Now, it's a Python-based uh, utility you can use, install locally on your system to do data exploration. You can do data cleaning on your raw data, and you can basically do a lot of manipulation by, you can understand your data, like raw data that you are getting with the help of Jupyter notebooks. You should have good knowledge about Jupyter notebooks. They, especially in the data science projects, it is, they are getting used big deal. And you can have them installed on your local machines. Of course, you can use them as a managed services provided by uh, cloud platforms like GCP, AWS as well. So this was like mostly around fundamentals. These are the things that one has to, these are the things one has to have good knowledge to start with. So the next slides talk about very basic terminologies like creating tables in database, querying data, joins, subqueries, views. I'm sure most of you guys have already done this thing in the college level. In some, like if somebody might have developed some projects in college, but you cannot ignore the importance of joins, in data analysis. You cannot ignore the importance of subqueries. You cannot ignore the importance of views. You cannot ignore importance of stored procedures. So these are the things you should be ready to do hands on, as and when you know y- as and when you start working on a database or some data, relational data source that you are getting as part of your project. So needless to say, I'm just explaining in detail what are the benefits of Python as a programming languages. Versatility, of course, we have spoken. There are a lot of libraries that are available. Some of them are like NumPy and Pandas that are there for data manipulation. Like, I would like to explain, like Pandas is a good library that gives you, uh, structures, in-memory structures to hold data. You can play around with rows, columns of data frames. So the object, like we have tables in relational databases. Similarly, we have data frames in Pandas library. So Pandas gives you ability to manipulate around a set of data sets that you have, and then you can transform, you can clean, you can remove unwanted columns, unwanted rows, and you can store it, you know, uh, as a cleaned data in some target medium. Could be a table, could be a file, but definitely very important and a powerful data manipulation library. And numeric Python, NumPy, we call it, another important library. Um, then Python also offer libraries in the third point, if you can see, Matplotlib and Seaborn. Um, Basically, high quality visualization of your data. Like if you want to see your data as a bar chart, or as a pie chart, or as a trend, being shown on a line chart, histogram, or a heat map, or a scatter plot, a lot of visualizations are available in these libraries, and you can nicely represent your data. You can you know nicely present it to somebody to explain the trends in the data. Like for example is, if you got some raw data set, and somebody has asked you to perform outlier analysis on your data, then you can make use of libraries. I have already spoken. You can make use of pandas to load that data into a data frame and look for column by column or row by row for any outliers, that the values that are not aligning with the common pattern of the data, and you can highlight them as in the form of visualizations as the count of those outliers, or percentage of those outliers in the total data sets. So sorry. So visualization libraries, data manipulation libraries, they play a great part in any data engineer life or data analyst life, or data scientist life. So then, of course, there are machine learning libraries available: scikit-learn, TensorFlow, Keras. These are the libraries that will give you the ability to build models, and will give you the ability to train your models on a training set of data and test that model on a test data. Then important aspect, we call it as interoperability. Python can be easily integrated with other languages and tools. Like one example that I was talking about was Apache Spark. Apache Spark is open source big data distributed computing platform, and Apache Spark has given SDKs, software development kits for different languages. So what an SDK means is, like, I can make use of, for example, a Python SDK will have functions uh, written in Python format, Python language, that can be called to, to build some Spark based data pipeline. So this also makes Python a language of choice, because every uh, big data computing platform is having Python based SDK. So to name few of them: Apache Spark, Hadoop, Apache Beam is also there. And then the last point that I want to share is the community support. Of course, there are a lot of community support in terms of developers who are already contributing regularly through forums and other online resources. Then when it comes to actually learning it, I mean, it is like, gone are those days when there used to be the physical book for SQL. There used to be a physical book for Python. There used to be a physical book for learning any other language. Now is the time when we have a lot of good platforms like Code Academy. W3 Schools is an old platform and very easily can be easily navigated, and very easy to understand. So W3 Schools, Udemy, very niche platform having variety of SQL training courses. Khan Academy, yes, a free online SQL course uh, that that can give you a starting point, with explains nicely about basics of SQL in syntax, creating databases, querying data. Coursera, yes, they do offer. Now, these are some of the platforms that I have mentioned over here, but there are a lot of platforms available in present day, and it should not be a very difficult task to learn SQL. And you know, uh, the most common one that I missed over here is the YouTube. YouTube is available. You can definitely, but the downside I see to YouTube is there is an explosion of content. You know, uh, and I totally respect for all the folks who are putting content over YouTube, but then it is explosion, and it would be not a very good situation for someone who is just starting. You know, for a beginner, it is always better to have a guided platform. So these are you can say these are the guided platforms. Like, they will give you a guided approach, what needs to be done and what needs to be ignored. To start with SQL. So definitely you should try that. I can give example for Code Academy, which I sorry. So here, as you can see, it has resources available for SQL. It gives you a nice UI here to start with, analyze data SQLs. They have different skill paths, and so, and similarly, it is available for Python as well. So it gives you a very guided approach. Like, for example, if you want to check out on loops, a very crisp and concise content available explaining, you know. So as I was stressing upon, the of need of today's time is to sail through only the required content. I mean, there is huge data, huge content available on platforms like YouTube, but it's important to understand that you should be discreet enough what to leave and what to read. Okay. So I would definitely recommend all of you to start going through the courses that are available on these platforms. They will help you get started quickly. Now, the most important thing is like learning is definitely, it's a prerequisite. You should have good knowledge about SQL and Python. You cannot do without that. So, but the next step is building a portfolio. You need to showcase your work, whatever, whether it could be a projects that you are building, or it could be, some uh, technical, some business case scenario you implemented on your, as a personal project, or it could be a certification, that you have done in some area that is offered by uh, major platforms like, for example, cloud platforms like GCP. They offer certifications, and I think it's a right step. Like, after, to get onto those certifications, to earn those certifications, like they have certifications for cloud architects, professional data engineer for GCP professional, a lot of certifications around data analytics. So getting certified will help you great deal, in your job search. I'm not saying like organization use it as a filter criteria, but it can help you stand out in some scenarios, where the organization may prefer the folks who are certified uh, against the folks who are not certified. So it can help you in some scenarios. So getting certified is never, it will always help you. It will never go against you. Then looking for internship, part-time work. Yes, if LinkedIn is a good platform where you can approach, you can uh, approach folks for. Then there are platforms, freelance platforms that are available, for opportunities like this. So gaining practical experience will definitely help you. It's always better to be part of actual project. I mean, doing training is good, going through the courses is good, getting certified is good, but nobody can match the experience that you will get in a project that you are working for some customer, because there you will get a chance to see what could be the scenario where, you will get a chance to understand all those scenarios where customer is changing the requirements, and you are trying to, you know make modifications on your side to adjust to those requirements, and negotiating those requirements with customers, and ensuring you are delivering as per the expectations. So all those things will you will all only get when you will get into some actual customer project. You'll get a, good glance of like end to end cycle, how it works in a typical agile based setup. You'll get, so definitely you should strive to get to be part of internships, part-time work, and that you can showcase on your resume, of course. And of course, it's important uh, to stay up to date. You cannot, and the good way is like attending online webinars, Lot of events happening online these days. You can get information on LinkedIn. You can read industry blogs. So these are some of the channels that will help you get up to the mark. And we always keep you up to date with the latest trends that are going in the industry. And it's important to connect with the fellow professionals and ask them about the projects that they are working in. And it's see, networking always helps. And the last point here is, like, if you are really interested, and there are a lot of degrees and certifications, professional level degree courses that are available in data analytics platforms like I mean I can say, like, there are online uh, degree courses that are available. Coursera is one such platform, and then there are other. But if you want to go on the offline course, nothing can beat that. Having a full-fledged offline course will help you great deal. So so that was about building. And one more thing, it's always good to have a GitHub repository. You should have a LinkedIn profile where you can showcase your GitHub repository, where you should be checking in code on daily basis. Whatever research, whatever codes, whatever projects you're building, you should have a repository of your code available. That can be looked upon by somebody who is interviewing you, right? You can showcase your work. So that is also important. Okay, I think this was all I wanted to cover in the data analytics, as far as building your career. But this was keeping the latest industry trend that is going on. I mean, it's making a lot of noise, and you will have to, it's gonna be part of much of the mundane tasks that we are doing. And I'm talking about Chat GPT. So uh, I've I intentionally included some stuff around Chat GPT, how Chat GPT can help you in your day-to-day data-related tasks. So, I hope all of you are aware of Chat GPT, because if you are living on Earth, then there is no way you might not have, there is every chance you have already worked on the UI, Chat GPT UI. You have explored Chat GPT UI. So I am assuming you have basic knowledge. So ChatGPT is a very advanced version of uh, what they call it, large language models, AI based conversational AI models. And speaking of the utility, ChatGPT helps you give the data in the form of a response when you provide some prompt. Like, if you're asking some question, you'll get back some response in a very tailored manner. So and lately there has been a lot of buzz around it, with the capabilities, like, for example, generating slides on the fly, generating resumes, generating content, Word documents on the fly in the matter of minutes. So such is the kind of work that is getting leveraged from ChatGPT these days. So I will talk about, from data perspective, like how we can make use of ChatGPT in data projects. Now, this is one of the prompt that you can give back to the ChatGPT interface. Okay, let's read about it. It says, so what I'm trying to give as an input to ChatGPT is, I'm saying, okay, I want ChatGPT to be a SQL programmer, and I'm giving some piece of code, and I'm saying there is some error that I'm getting, and I'm asking what could be the reason for this error. So in the response, I will be getting the reason and the corrected version of my code. So let's try it out on the actual chat GPT. Okay, let's like for example, create a table employees with columns ID, name, age. So it will give me a SQL statement, right? See, now this is just one of a small glimpse of the power of uh, ChatGPT. So you can see like you can optimize a lot of tasks, right? Uh, in your day-to-day SQL. For example, writing a syntactically correct SQL statement, right? So you should definitely try it out. And let's go back. So some of the useful ChatGPT links I have given, like for data science projects, we will just quickly go through. So like, you can perform exploratory data analysis, writing Python code. Yes, you can. Let me give you one short example, right? Uh, Python code to generate um, CSV file having containing 100 records. Let's see. So easily, I'm getting the number, I'm getting the actual code, that can be written to generate that CSV file. Now, these were the scenarios, these were the things we used to work in typical data projects, and it used to take sometimes 2 3 days or a week to test it out, to test a proper code. But now with the help of chat gpt, these things, the repetitive things, of course you cannot ignore human creativity, you cannot match the human intelligence, but you can definitely automate the tasks that are repetitive in nature, right? For example, creating a set of tables, creating a set of schema, creating a set of you know set of tables that is fitting your data warehouse or a data mart. You can do all those stuff through chat gpt. you know uh, you can avoid mistakes on the syntactical part, right? Because uh, you would not be doing it manually, you will be doing it through the help of machine, right? So I'm not saying like the projects would be fully automated. You know, I mean, it would never be possible, even with the advent of sophisticated large language model platforms. It will still be, only on the augmentation side, only on the assisting the actual human effort. Like one example I have already given you, like where you are building a data model, you can automate that part, like at least. And you can even write some python code for mundane scenarios, like generating synthetic data, right, for your testing. So so I would recommend all of you to start understanding the power of chat gpt in the data domain, right? So these are some of the links that will help you great deal. I have already, I think, three of the links that I found, like I have put in this. Yeah, chat gpt cheat sheet for data science. So let's try to also look into this thing. So it gives you basically if you have written some python code and you're not able to understand the function, chat gpt can help you explain that. You just have to feed that code, and these are a lot of use cases, as you can see over here. It is available on datacamp platform. You should definitely explore that. I mean, my only intention is, like, if you are working in some data role, you should definitely include chat gpt as part of your day-to-day exercises, to ensure you are working only on the tasks that are needed, where human thinking or human creativity is needed, while all the mundane tasks are left on to the conversational AI platforms like ChatGPT. Okay, so this will help you great deal. And another important thing is like another good example of ChatGPT is like, the whole slide that I have gone through. I have not generated it manually. It has been generated by ChatGPT. I have not written any of the content here. It was written by ChatGPT, and I just so I'll give you another example of the platform like Gamma app, which I utilized to build the PPTs for this discussion. So here you are. If you want to uh, build, like, this is AI based tool. You want to build some presentation, documentation, or web page, you just have to provide your theme on what you want to build. Like, for example, if I want to build a document, it will ask me, okay, what is the context? Like, for example, if I say science of habits, it will start generating it, you know. So this is the power of conversational AI. As you can, it will generate the content as well for me, as you can see. And I just have to say, I have to select some theme here. So it is, all the work has been taken care by the platform itself. Of course, some minor modifications I can make, that becomes part of the human creativity, right? That's the human angle to the whole process. But the groundwork will be done by the tools like that. And this is the future, this is uh, gonna be the game in coming 3 to 4 months. You cannot ignore it, because every month or every week, I would say, or every fortnight, there are hundreds of AI tools that are being built out of ChatGPT, and these are some of the examples that I'm showing you. So as you can see, it'll do some processing and it will present me the final content in a word, not a word, in a document basically, which I can modify further to adjust basically. But the groundwork, or the base level work is already being done by the platform. So let's wait for it to complete. See, it has generated a nice looking document, with pictures, with content, and everything, and definitely I can add more slides, I can add more content. That is up to me, because that is the human touch that I can give back to the AI based content that is generated. That's all I think I wanted to cover. uh, so I would like to understand if I can answer some questions that you may have. So let's wait for uh, some more time before. I think we have 2 minutes to
Yeah, we
go.
have one question in the chat section if you want to answer.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. It can also reduce human and it kills the jobs. Well, there has been a lot of noise. Like, it may kill the jobs meant for coding, coding jobs, or but that would not be the case. Uh, because as you might have seen in actual projects, some of the code snippet can be generated by ChatGPT, but it cannot mimic the complex business logic that has been provided by you know the client, or someone. There has to be some human interaction. So these platforms, they will act as in, like, additional kind of a helping platform. They cannot take the center stage. It will be, I mean, that time has not come as of now, but it is it is just like the human can use these platforms to automate their repetitive tasks. So it will never reach that level where it can start mimicking the human thought process. So that day is far, and hopefully that will never come. So that's my take on it. Any other question I can answer? So let's go by the first one, which says some personalities in IT have asked for a moratorium in ChatGPT. Do you agree or no? I think I will agree with them. because the pace at which the chat GPT is evolving may disrupt a lot of things. I think we need to do it in a controlled way. And I definitely agree with them. We should put moratorium for now. But, putting moratorium completely, it will also not help. I think it should be controlled. It should be, you know, it should be regulated. Yes, because it should not go uncontrollably the way it is happening right now. And I think there are industry leaders who are doing it right. They are raising their voices against you know these platforms. Then the second is, as a data analyst, do I have to get deeper knowledge of the data? Yes, you'll have to get deeper knowledge of data. See, SQL is just a query language. It is helping you get the relevant data out. It is providing you the syntax to get, play around with the data. But having overall feel of the data is important. When I say feel of data, understanding the trend of data, what are the outliers? What is the overall, you know, uh, uh, trend in the data? Which companies, how to find, okay, as a, which companies to apply, how to find right companies for data science jobs. See, first and foremost thing is building out your resume and putting it on the job portals. Could be monster.com, naukri.com, Read, uh, Indeed, or LinkedIn. You know, and then there are customized premium plans in LinkedIn that are available. That are meant for if you are searching for a job, right? So you can go for that premium subscription. It gives you recommendation of the jobs, and it can help you find the right. But I think overall, having uh, a good LinkedIn profile and a good resume uploaded on the different job search portals will get you 40 to 50% in your job search. Rest, it all depends upon the right opportunity and how the interviews goes, right? A lot of things are dependent on that as well. How to get job in data domain as it's recession going on, no one hiring, other fees hiring. Well, it's not a recession, I would say full-fledged. It's kind of a slow recession, and especially the trend is some companies who were over hiring, they are only facing problems. They are the major companies who are creating the problems, around firing. But yes, there is, but I think, see, there is a simple rule to it. You cannot stop searching for a job just because it's a recession. There will be certain opportunity in some location or in some company because of some client requirement. It's just about time, and Shivam, in that time frame, all you have to do is keep solidifying your portfolio. It could be strengthening your LinkedIn profile or strengthening your GitHub profile, working on more projects, you know personal projects. So that's it, I think. The last question I cannot understand, will there be upload on YTB this session? YouTube, okay. Yes, I think, as Deepak mentioned, it will be uploaded. So that, I think, I answered all the questions, unless there are no more, I think. That's all, I think. Deepak, I answered, I think, all the questions.
Yeah, the questions are over. Okay, thanks a lot, Jaspreet. On behalf of Analytics Vidya, I would like to thank you for your time and for delivering such a wonderful session. And I'm sure our audience found it insightful, and hopefully, we can conduct more such sessions with you in the future.
Thanks, Deepak, and thank you all for your time and patience. And yep, and it was great to connect with all of you.